Part 2. Supporting Verses. Whenever we start to look into other verses that support this original commandment that we found over in Exodus chapter 20 verse 12, the next example that we can find that supports is actually found only a chapter later, found in Exodus chapter 21 verse 17, in which it says, "And he that curses his father or mother shall surely be put to death." As we're able to see in this verse here, even though it doesn't exactly talk about honoring your father or mother like it did a chapter earlier in Exodus chapter 20, instead it is able to go the other way with it here. This verse here approaches this topic from the other side of it. What happens if we don't honor our parents? Honor is something that is defined as a high respect or deep esteem, or even as something regarded as a rare opportunity and bringing pride and pleasure a privilege. However, when we look into this new verse in Exodus chapter 21, it talks about cursing your father or your mother. Now this isn't like the new slang for cursing, meaning sayings like bad or profane words. There are a couple of different meanings that we can derive from this, such as to be very angry with someone or yourself, to say or think impolite things about them, to express frustration or anger towards someone or something, a prayer or invocation of harm or injury to come upon one. Whenever we look at the two of these different words and different definitions of them, we can begin to see how exactly these two words are polar opposites of each other. So when in Exodus chapter 20, we are told that whenever we honor them, that we will have a long life, and then a chapter later in Exodus chapter 21, we see that we will be put to death, it becomes pretty clear here that there is actually no gray zone when it comes to this. There are more verses that we can find that word it and talk the same way too, like in Leviticus chapter 20 verse 9. In this verse, it not only talks about the same idea from Exodus chapter 21 verse 17 that we have already talked about, but here it goes a step further. They both start off the same by saying that those who curse their father or their mother will be put to death. However, here in Leviticus, it goes further by saying that his blood shall be on him. Through this phrase here, it signifies that the individual who did this bears full responsibility for the consequences of their actions. The main reason for this verse to word it like this is because it also serves as a warning to others who may read about the seriousness of sin and the importance of maintaining the sanctity of the family relationship, especially the respect and reverence towards the parents, both father and mother. There are even other verses that we can find where it has the same thing mentioned, but it takes a slightly different approach to it. In Proverbs chapter 30 verse 17, where it says, "The eye that mocketh at his father and despiseth to obey his mother, the ravens of the valley shall pluck it out, and the young eagle shall eat it." In this verse, it is able to describe through imagery quite the vivid scene here. All this is due to the consequences of a disrespect. By all of this, it is able to suggest that those who mock or scorn their parents are going to be the ones that will face a severe judgment, all through their ability to perceive right, both physically and also spiritually. This last verse that we're going to look at this section is found over in Proverbs chapter 23 verse 22, where it says, "Listen to your father who begot you, and do not despise your mother when she is old." From this verse here in Proverbs, we do not see any kind of warning that we have seen so far in all the other verses that we have looked at. Instead, this verse talks about what we are needing to be doing. Through this verse, it is able to give us examples that we are supposed to be listening to them and also not despising them, meaning to not neglect them. Through just these two examples, we can start to see how we are supposed to be acting and treating our parents in that godly manner. Just like the commandment was talking about originally in Exodus chapter 20 verse 12. We as children of God are supposed to be respectful and are needing to learn everything that we can from those who are older than us. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 5, in which would obviously include our parents on this list too.